Hey guys, this is Nasane here with our review of WrestleMania 40 Night 1. I'm here with
Double D, the Osiris.
Ann.
And Jay Breezy.
Hey guys, so what you guys think about Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley?
Hey man, first match of the night, setting it off on fire. Becky Lynch come out looking like a straight star. You know, Rhea Ripley come out looking like a straight snack with a live performance. Like, man,
Hey.
hey, set
Yeah.
it off. It was fire, man. I agree. Love it.
I personally think it was the best match all night. Now I know it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, but I personally think that Becky Lynch and Mommy did such a great job that it no one else could follow it. Just no one else can follow. When you look at the in-ring performance, when you look at the story being told, when when you look at the charisma of both of these characters and their history and what they've been through, where they have come from and where they are now in their careers, is it absolutely hands down is the best match of the night. Should it have been the main event? No, because of course there was bigger
Star
star power
power.
on the
Yeah.
card. But I just feel like it was the best match. And let me just say, Mommy absolutely dominated, and I was expecting her to win. And I'm happy she did, and she should have. She is establishing her dominance not only as a in-ring performer, but as a wrestler in general. I mean, look here, guys. She beat Becky Lynch. Okay, this isn't peanuts. This isn't some random female wrestler. This is the man. Mommy
Yeah.
just beat the man. Think about that for a second. Mommy just beat the man. You can't get any better than that. She has
Now, right
established
now,
herself.
Rhea Ripley is going crazy, man. Like she's on a whole different tier. Like right now, she is number one when it comes to the women in professional wrestling. She's at her prime right now. It's at her prime peak. And with this of Becky Lynch, it only gets greater. Like now, I feel like now she's gonna embark on like her next mission to keep that momentum going. And I feel like that's going to be the hardest thing for her is keeping that momentum going. But I feel like she has all the momentum and everything behind her to keep pushing and keep moving the needle and keep getting greater by the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with James. I think it was the match of the night, and it's crazy to think after the circumstances of Becky Lynch. Like, I didn't even realize it at first, but she had that what was it, like 102 fever going. She had strep throat. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it's dude, I've had it before. Like it's not something that you can easily deal with. So for her to be able to
Nah,
deal with that,
that's definitely good at it out.
deliver the performance that they delivered and it not really hurt Becky Lynch in the long run, I think was phenomenal. It got brought up a little earlier. Should that or could that match been the main event? I think now with the dust settled, I actually think it could have. I actually now think I think it should have been the main event. Um, because and we'll get to the main event in a little bit, but I just think this was the not only the best match on the card, but it felt like a main event.
Absolutely.
There's matches that steal the show and they're not the main event. You know what I mean? Um, but I think this could have been the main event, and or there's another match that I actually think could have been the main event, but I'll get to that in a minute. Um, but yeah, I think it's pretty crazy how they were able to pull this off with the circumstances that they're dealt and keep it, fresh. Um and there, like I said, everything down to the entrances. Mommy had the best entrance. Uh I thought it was great. Where does Becky go from here? I don't know. I've been a firm believer that the women's need a workhorse title, um, and oddly enough, the NXT got introduced a workhorse title in that NXT North American Women's Championship. I don't know when they're planning on like maybe doing a tournament or for it or whatnot, but I think that something like that needs to be on the main roster. You know what I mean? And you don't even got to do two. You could just do one for both brands. Feel it out because I think that there's so much women's star power now that it's gonna be, I think it's just warranted. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does come out and someone like Becky Lynch takes that title and kind of elevates it to where it needs to be. It doesn't need to be her. It could be, her. It could be Bianca Belair, which we'll get into a minute, or someone along those lines. But yeah, I definitely do think this was the match of the night or close to it because I think I have another match that's really really close to it, and like I said, we'll get to that match in a minute. But what did you guys think about the ladder match?
The ladder match. I was, to be honest with you, I was actually shocked that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller won it. I'm not too mad about it. I feel like they're like tremendous with their charisma, and like you needed a heel dynamic to win. Our truth and the mid, the awesome truth winning, it was wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the right call. I feel like our truth has been putting in a lot of work, and he's been beloved by the WWE universe and fellow wrestlers. It was a good moment for him to have. Of course, the Miz, he's definitely Hall of Fame worthy. Um, and the match itself was big spots. After winning their titles, that bump that Water took. Man, it was crazy. Feel like the right people won. Great match, top spots. It's what you would expect in a multi-man ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it did its job. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the best multi-man ladder match. Um, but it was definitely did its job. It definitely put over the right team in our truth and the Miz, and they did the right thing and also splitting the belts. But
That's what I was going to elaborate on. That the belts needed to be split, and this was the right time to do it. This was a perfect time to do it, and I think the two teams that won it were it was the right call. It was definitely the right call, hands down.
so the only thing I say with the other teams, and I'm not saying I think Austin Theory and Grayson Waller need their shine or whatever. I think it's coming at a weird spot. Um, but I
I
like to
wouldn't
I
say the
like
word weird. I
well
would say
here
unique.
here's
Unique.
the reason why I say that is and I like
Okay.
to think the Osiris's thoughts on this, but I think it was a middle finger to Dave Meltzer. Like if I'm being honest with
Really?
you, yeah.
Oh
Um,
wow.
when to shed some light on it, Grayson Waller when they won the belts, Dave Meltzer kind of came out and said that they might be replaced by another team, and it's just like I'm
Ah,
not
yeah,
saying
I heard that was
I'm
a
not
report for that.
I'm not saying that wasn't true. Maybe that report is true, but like this is especially in the last couple of years, like that Dave Meltzer has been getting a lot of information wrong. Um,
Yeah,
or not necessarily
that's what
wrong, or
he thought.
he's been led in the wrong direction. Maybe you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it's
So
starting to become his MO lately. Like that's like his MO calling card. He gets talked about more with people when he actually does. So I guess it helps. Like I don't know if that's his angle to get people talking about him, but he's been saying like outlandish stuff for the past
well,
like
I
before.
wonder if it's people within WWE that are like, let's take away his credibility so that we can surprise more people. Um, when it comes to match outcomes and stuff like that. Because nowadays, at the age of the internet, like we get stuff spoiled all the time, and
And
like
I can see that because it was so unpredictable and like the way they won was kind of awkward. That's why I use the word unique because he just climbed the ladder and boom, gets the belts. There was no finesse to it, like it was with R Truth, right?
right,
And I was taken back by that. I was like, oh, that's an interesting call. So
but it's interesting.
hmm
Kind
yeah,
of, kind of, kind of
absolutely,
took us by surprise. Like I know for a fact it took me by surprise.
me too.
Not expecting it.
so but I am glad, like I said, that our truth and the Miz got their, well, mainly the our truth got his shine at Mania. It's a long time coming. And we'll see where this
Absolutely.
goes. Hopefully, they get new belts come Raw. Well, which ones did they win? Actually, did they win the Raw ones? Either way, I hope both of them get both belt updates.
They won the Raw ones.
Okay. But yeah, so going on to the next match, it was the tag team match with Andrade, Rey Mysterio versus Dominic and I forget how to pronounce his name. Um, God dang it. Well, how do I pronounce his name? Santos Escobar. Um, I I'll start off with that one. I the build up to that match kind of like took me out of it. You know what I mean? Like this match got made 2 weeks ago, and then it got changed a week ago. Um,
Mhm.
I don't
Yep.
know what was the purpose of having Dragon Lee, come out and then not be in the match. Like I get it. You just got Andrade back and you want to put him in a match. You had 2 months, 3 months to build him up. Like you could have done something else. You could have, um, you know, put him in a United States title match that was already a triple threat match. You could have done something else than to just include him in a match that, like, I understand why he's there, but it just, I don't know, it took me out of it. Like, I said this when it first got announced, and I'm saying this now, that match should have been a one-on-one with Dominic and Ray. Um, in my opinion, at least.
That would have made more sense. But at the same time, that's something we've seen.
I mean, that's true, but at the, you know, sometimes seeing the same thing doesn't necessarily make it bad. We're getting Cody versus Roman twice, right?
Well, no, I totally agree, but it's just there wasn't a significant build up to it, like Cody versus Roman. Number two, like I said, like you said, it was made 2 weeks, changed 1 week before Mania, and just trying to fill the match card. It's what it felt like to me. Get a legend like Rey Mysterio out there, put butts in chairs, get the crowd hype. That's what that match kind of
Yeah, I
seemed like.
mean, again, it's
Hey, get
one.
everybody over.
It,
It was more so a get over match for both the heels and the baby faces. Get
yeah,
them out there, get them in the ring. Let's see what they can do when the lights are on bright. You know,
no,
Yeah,
like,
you
let
can
Rey
say that for
Mysterio lead the way.
a couple of matches.
yeah,
Like a couple of matches had on the card. Like a couple, like I can name at least three matches that has that same type of feel. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like everybody's been intertwined. Like like when you bring in when you got Rey Mysterio and Dominic, like they've been having a Dominic. I said Dominic, Lord Jesus. Dominic. They've been having the same story since last year. So like
Hmm.
it's a story there. Like, but
Right.
like same thing. Well, like we can say that about the match with Bianca and Jade and Naomi and Damage Control. they've been intertwined throughout the year, both with Bianca Belair. She done got screwed over by Damage Control. But you know they got thrown in a match at Mania. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that match, like, you could have set up at, I don't know, the Royal Rumble. Had, last year we had Dom chasing Ray, right, for the match.
Right.
This year we could have had, I don't even remember if Dom and Raw and Ray were in the Royal Rumble, but you could have had Dom throw out Ray at the Rumble, right? Or, and then
Remember
Ray's
Ray
like Ray's like, "Oh, you cost me that
Mazoto
match."
came back.
Huh?
Ray was injured.
Oh, that's right. How long was he injured for?
He just now came back. He haven't even been back for like a month. He literally just got back when they built. That was his first match
And when did
back.
when did he get injured?
Like before Survivor Series, if I'm not mistaken.
So what you could have also
I
done,
don't think he was at Survivor.
what you could have also done is because damn, he's not the Dom didn't injure him, right? It was Escobar. That's where it gets tough,
Uh,
man.
it, it, but he was in the match with him. He was Dominic's tag team partner.
No, 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 no. I know. What I'm saying is like to go to just make it Dom versus Ray. Yeah, I mean that was just I think a weird
Uh,
situation. I'm
legal
interesting
match.
to see, yeah, what was their original plan, because I felt like that probably changed a lot. But nonetheless, they put out a match. It was okay. You had Travis Kelsey come out, Philly's own. So where it didn't do much for like 90% of the audience, it did a lot for the Philly audience. Um, so I'm not gonna knock it too much, but yeah, I mean the match was okay. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of multi man matches for the sake of having people at Mania. Um, you know what I mean? But we'll get into that more in a second. But what was your guys' thoughts on the Jimmy match?
Um, great storytelling. Uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like a lot of sibling matches, they have a stigma behind them. Um, you know, the greatest one is still Brett versus Owens, but I feel like the Usos delivered in the match story wise. Even a story during the match. When Jay was like about to forgive Jimmy. Jimmy tried to sucker him in. It almost got him a W with that. Uh, it was a very compelling story, and I think they delivered match wise. It was a one on one, straight to the point. Me versus you, let's see who the man is type of match, and I feel like that helped the story as well. Like no shenanigans, a one on one match. It was a wonderful showing by the two brothers. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I thought they did great. Jimmy's if you will, acting was very believable. The only thing is that I almost wanted Jimmy to go over, right? Because we've established Jay as main event. It's in his name now. I think Jimmy still needs a little bit build up. So I think that's the one match that I think I would have rather Jimmy win. I'm not upset that Jay won. I think it works either way. Um, but I thought Jimmy could have used it a little bit more. Um,
Yeah, it would have helped to make the story go a little bit. Like they wanted to make the story go, that would have
so
helped.
which again I'm okay with Jay winning, because like that probably means that like that story's kind of done. You know, I don't see it going further than Mania, maybe Raw, but I doubt it. Um, but
It
yeah,
needs to end. It's kind of worn out at this point.
Um. Well, that's another question though. Like, would you be opposed to seeing that, but instead of the singles match, maybe a triple threat match between them and Solo? You know what I mean? I don't know. Um.
No, Solo seems more loyal. If anything, a tag team.
Okay, between who and who?
The Usos, Solo, and Roman Reigns.
That I mean that we've already seen that match.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's the only thing that'll make sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's worn out. I said that to elaborate on the fact that it's worn out. The bloodline storyline is getting worn out. That's what I'm trying to.
Ah, that's
That's that's
interesting.
ex- that's basically what I'm trying. Basically, they need to. I feel Solo can stay with Roman, but the Usos they both have to separate from the bloodline in the overall storyline, and they got to go their own way. It's time for both of them to go to the next level. What
Yeah.
that looks like is what that looks like, but it's just worn out.
No, I agree. Like I think Jay already separated himself. Now with this rivalry, hopefully it closes for a little bit, and then now Jimmy can maybe try to pursue a full singles career. Um.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. What are your thoughts, Osiris, on that match before we move forward?
Um, we're talking about Jay, right? Jay and Jimmy.
Yeah.
That like I said earlier, that match, it was good. Like I said, I feel like they deliver as far as their story goes, and that was the most important thing to me. Like as far as like that match, because that story has been so told for so long. Like if they was to go out there and have a third, like it kind of down. I feel
Yeah.
like they carried their own storytelling in the match, so it was a good match.
Ronnie, we're losing you.
Osiris.
I mean, Osiris. I think we lost him.
His phone probably died.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do. Um,
How about now?
there you go.
Okay, it connected to my Wi-Fi at home. I'm going to take it off and just my data. Like I'm still like I'm like away from it, so it's like picking up, but yet it's not a strong connection. But you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear
You
you
can hear me
great.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, the match with Jimmy and Jay, like I said, they had a lot going for themselves, like as far as story wise. I feel like they delivered. That was the main thing for me. Them delivering at the same level of expectation as their story, because they had a tremendous story coming in, and I feel like in ring they lived up to par with what the story was. It was a very heartfelt, like when Jimmy tried to sucker Jay in, and Jay actually giving in, and just for Jimmy to sneak him and try to screw him over,
Right.
but still for Jay to come out on top. It was good, man. I feel like they lived up to the hype of the match, as far as the story goes. Um, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, they could have did a little bit better with this and stuff like that. I feel like it did what it should have been. It
Gotcha.
was it was a good match.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know overall it was a good match, and it was definitely a very story driven match, to say the least.
Right.
Um, But yeah, and to go on to the next match is I'm like drawing a blank. I've been drawing a blank a lot lately. The next match is the Bianca Belair, Naomi, Jade Cargill versus Damage Control match. What are your guys' thoughts?
Wonderful match. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, oh my goodness. Osiris, go ahead and set it off for us.
Osiris?
Hello,
Yeah.
I'm here. It went out again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What was the question? What did I think about the women's match with Jay Cargill and
I was glad to see
Bianca?
Jay. I was glad to see Naomi back. I felt the glow. I really did feel the glow. And
The glow.
I love their outfits. I love everyone's outfits on both sides.
Yep.
It was a wonderful.
So
It,
yeah, so I mean I overall enjoyed the match a little bit more than I thought I was. I'm not the big fan of multi-man matches, especially not the ones that come together, you know, last minute. But this is definitely where Damage Control shines, and all three of those girls um added a little bit more to that match, and it made it feel a lot better. Not to take away anything from Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, but they haven't worked as a team before. Damage
Right.
Control did, and they took lead in that match, and it made that match feel a lot better than it might have came out. So I thought, that part was great. I thought Jade looked pretty good. You know what I mean? She's definitely improved from her AEW days. Um, and Bianca's always looked great. Naomi's always looked great. Um, you know, but I feel that I felt yeah, like I don't really have a complaint for this match. Where I thought I was. I thought, it was gonna be more of a like Jade comes in last minute, does everything, whatever. But no, she took a decent beating. My only complaint was is that like, and I have to do the math, so give me a second. It's 2018, think 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. If I'm not mistaken, and I have to Google this to make sure, but I'm almost certain. Let me before I say it, let me Google it. Um, let me see, guys. Give me a second. Uh, there we go. Um, yeah. So she's Asuka is 0-5. I think she's now 0-6 at WrestleMania. Man, like that's not a good record to have when you were undefeated for you
Oh
know
wow, I think she beat
for
this chick. They compare
to
to
Goldberg's,
Goldberg.
yeah. So that just doesn't sit right. I understand that Jade shouldn't lose her first match, her first
Mhm.
official match. She was in a Rumble, and I don't really count that as like a loss. If I'm being honest with you, I think
Nah,
there's just a winner. I mean, I get it. 29 other
I
people
wouldn't
did
have counted
lose.
a tag match as a loss.
But you're right. Yeah, like, but the thing is, who do you have lose, right? Do you have a returning Naomi lose? I don't think that sits right neither. Or do you have an undefeated Bianca
nah,
lose in a tag team match, right? So there's no one on that other side that can get pinned. Um, so I
right.
hope somewhere in the near future we get to see Oscar win a match. Hopefully, it's a singles match. You know, it doesn't even have to be a world title match. It just, you know, she wins a match, an important ish match. You know, um, but that's it. Other than that, I think the match did what it's supposed to do. I think all three um competitors on each side looked great. And they actually looked better than I expected them to be honest with you. But I honestly do attribute that to damage control. I mean, those girls have known each other for years prior to this, you know, so it doesn't surprise me that they've been able to work so well together.
Right. Right.
Um, but yeah,
Um, I I think the match was pretty good. The right woman won, uh, in my opinion, because like you said, like it was so many things that contributed to that match. That hey, you never know. Who could win? Who could have lost? Like nobody on the other team could have lost, and it would have made sense looking wise. You kind of want to bring them in strong. The Kabuki Warriors championship matches wasn't on the line, so I don't think they come out like like looking too bad with that loss. And plus you had future I mean you had I said the future, you had former women's champions or multi women's champions on the other team as well. So, it's not really a bad look for them losing.
yeah, no, I agree. Um, but to now tackle another match that I thought was great and can contend for match of the night was Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Um,
Absolutely. Now that match was my like I know like don't get me wrong, like I love Becky versus Rhea match, but that match there kind of blew me away. It really did.
yeah, I think like I said before, I had said that there was a match that also could have been the main event. That could have been the main event.
Absolutely.
Wholeheartedly. I think, you know, no disrespect to The Rock, Roman, you know, them guys, but I think, you know, if Sami Zayn was gonna go, even if Gunter was gonna go over, right? I think either one having the Intercontinental main event of WrestleMania, if like there was ever a match, Intercontinental title match to main event WrestleMania, it was this one. You know what I mean? And I
Absolutely.
and I thought like they had all the emotions. You know, like Rhea and Becky was great, but the crowd wasn't as emotionally invested. They were invested, but they weren't as emotionally invested as they were with Gunter and Sami Zayn. You know what I mean? And it's Philly. You know they're gonna love their underdog story. So it doesn't surprise me that they were so forth with Sammy, you know, winning. Uh, but then to get the great match that they got, you know what I mean? Like the Intercontinental, in my opinion, has now been put on another stratosphere from where it was at. It's kind of getting back to that legendary status that it was. Um, and I think that you know they made the right call with Sammy winning.
Yeah. A shocking call, but the right call. Like it was a very shocking call. Like that was unexpected. But then again, when you have such a legendary reign like Gunther's had, him losing is always going to take you by surprise because he's always like held his own in his matches.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you think? Um, Jay Breezy or whatever. What was I don't even remember what you said your name was. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think it was one of the greatest matches we've seen in a long time for the Intercontinental Championship. You know, like you guys were saying, the emotions were there. It was just all around a great match, and it was clean. That's what I like about it. It was clean. Sami Zayn won clean. There was no theatrics. It was just pure athletic wrestling, and Sami Zayn went over,
The
and I loved it.
to me the craziest spot in that match was that neck breaker on the shoulder. Like I, I didn't know Sammy had the strength to lift someone that tall and that heavy up the way he did. It threw me off. But no, yeah, like I said, it was overall great. That could have been the main event, but I think it's now time to get to the main event. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, and as he likes to call himself, the final boss, The Rock.
Unnecessary long. The match did not need to be that long.
And see the fact that we'll get into the length of the match first, because what I first want to get into is The Rock's entrance. I don't know if he thinks this is like a video game or something, but yeah, no, that was an interesting take that he did. But it was cool, you know. It's crazy to think how many decades The Rock has wrestled in, right? I think this is his fourth decade. His 90s, 2000s, 10s, and 20s now. Yeah, fourth decade, and he's been able to evolve. Where we've known people to be stubborn and not want to evolve. You know, and I won't throw out anybody's names out here. Um, but I just it did surprise me how willingly he was able to evolve into the character that he delivered. Because although we see similarities between his other characters, it was still a different character. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know, Hollywood Rock was more comedic when he was an asshole. And I think that like in this one, like he was more of an asshole. So to see that, you know, play out and see that play out in his entrance, I, you know, I think we all thought about it right afterwards. We're like, we're gonna see that, we're gonna go back and watch that entrance, and I have at least watched it 3 times. Three. Sorry guys, I'm like watching. I don't know what's playing in the background, and there was a funny thing going on, but it's I think well, it's a WrestleMania 22 match between Kurt Angle and Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. But anyways, off track, off track. It just threw me off when I glanced that way. But yeah, you know, I've gone back and seen it 3 times, and you know, like I think it's great, you know. But going into the match itself, yeah, like the match was very, very slow to start, and I understand why it was. Uh, but I think the biggest mistake that this match did was that it wasn't a tornado tag match. You know, I think it should have been. And if it wasn't gonna be, then you needed to keep it traditional. But The Rock, and again, kudos to creativity, but he tried to blend what a tornado tag match would look like and a traditional tag match, right? And you know, I don't think it was the bad idea, but I think that like the match was a little too slow for it. Where I think if you're gonna slow it down the way you had it, it would have just been better if you would have done a traditional match, through and through. Um, you know, but in reality, I think you know if it would have been a tornado tag match, I'm almost sure I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure the rules for a tornado tag match is that there's no disqualification. But if there wasn't, then you could make it a tornado tag match and no disqualification, and you could have had a very similar match to what KO and Austin had at 38, because that match wasn't fast paced, but the way they carried it, it was able to like keep people going. You know what I mean? Where I think at multiple points of this match, the crowd went flat. It could also be that they're outside, and it's hard to hear. But like even just looking out to the crowd, it was like they were like, "All right, come on, guys! Like we need this match to like get up a little bit," and it did. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of moments that were great about this match. Seeing Cody do the rock bottom before the Rock got the chance to do the rock bottom was really good. Um, you know, I like I said, I don't completely hate this match, but I think that it like you said earlier, it went on a little bit too long, and it was like a little too slow for even them. But what do you guys think?
Um, I agree. The Rock entrance was fire, like phenomenal. Um, the match, it was a slow build. Um, to get to that ending. That ending is what actually took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting.
You cut off. What were you saying?
I think it was a good story. I think they told the story that they needed to tell, and a lot of pops. Rock being a heel.
Can you hear me?
I think it was overall a
Yeah,
great match. And I don't know, just wasn't really what I was expecting, but it was quite entertaining. Not from a wrestling standpoint, but from an entertainment standpoint, I think it was wonderful.
yeah. No, I agree. I think like overall, I enjoyed the match for what it was. I'm not too upset at the outcome. I would have preferred, like all the interferences and all that to happen in this match, but I feel like now with the, anything goes bloodline rules for tomorrow, like now we're just going to get all the interferences tomorrow. So, I mean, it's not bad. I still think that, we're going to get hype or whatever, and I still think that you know, the person that should win will win the match. But I don't know. Maybe it's the traditionalist in me that I would have rather see a traditional match. But at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing. Uh, it could end up being the best thing for it. But one thing I will say is that I thought The Rock looked great. Um, Rock,
Yeah, no,
Rock,
I agree. Rock looked real good.
Rock still has that selling ability like no other. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
and I thought that he he looked a lot better now than he did in his return match at Survivor Series. And I comparing it to that match because that was also a tag match, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it
The one with Cena, right?
yeah. So I definitely think he looked a lot better in that match. Um, but yeah, I mean in this match than he did in that match. So overall, I think it was a good main event, but I think that main event could have gone on. It couldn't have. It didn't have to be the main event. I know why they did it. You know what I mean? they want outside of Rock being in that match, like you also you want Roman to beat that Hogan record, and you want Roman and Cody to be the first two to main event both nights of WrestleMania, going into this 2 night platform. Um,
Right.
cool, I got it. But man, you have 2 matches that outshine that main event. Um,
Yeah, that Sammy versus Gunther match was like that took me by surprise. Like that was like a hidden gem. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of the matches that's like a future hidden gem that was like, man, that match basically, it became more than what it was expected to be. Like it was going to be good, but like when a match over succeeds, that's what makes it great. The Rock entrance was phenomenal. He came and showed up and showed out as the final boss. The match was drawn out, like it kind of was like a crescendo. It started out slow and it built up. Did it meet the mark that it was expected? Uh, it kind of underachieved a little bit to me, match wise, but because it was so many big stars in it, it kind of makes up for itself. But overall, like it was a it was a good showing by both teams, and what really got me was Rock actually pinning um Cody. I felt if Roman would have pinned Cody, it would have helped out for night two a lot better.
um,
What do you guys think about that?
I don't mind that. I don't mind getting the Rock getting the pin. I don't think Roman needed it. Roman's already pinned him once, right? Um,
Right, right, right.
so he doesn't need it. Not saying that the Rock needs it, but it's like, oh, okay, you know.
But let me ask you this: don't you think that would have add more doubt to Cody's quest tomorrow? Um, as he goes 1-on-one with Reigns, him losing again to Roman Reigns at Mania, like wouldn't that make his win tomorrow seem even bigger? Because when it counts, that's when he actually come out on top. Or do you think getting beat twice would taint his actual victory tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it hurts it. I think, like, I don't. Better yet, I don't think it would have helped it much more. I wouldn't have thought anything of it. I actually didn't think anything of it until you brought it up, and they said, "Oh, look, Rock pin Cody," and I was like, "Oh yeah." I mean, like, it wasn't. I didn't feel like a big deal to me. If anything, I expected Rock to get the pin. A guy of that magnitude isn't going to be put in this match, and for nothing. You know what I mean? Not only that, but I could also elevate the Rock and Cody's match. I mean, the Rock and Roman's match later. You know what I mean? Or Rock and Cody. Because even if Cody goes over on Roman tomorrow, Rock can still be like, well, I have a win over you. And you know what I mean? So I definitely think that's just further further storytelling for the Rock and Cody down the line. If they want it to happen. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it will happen, but it's definitely there if they want it to happen. And The Rock, I feel like it's gonna be more involved. Not for long, but will be involved um more than he's ever has before. More in recent history, I should say.
Yeah.
So
That press conference speaks for anything because he talked his ass off during that press conference.
yeah.
He
So
talked for a while.
so you know what I mean? But we'll see. But overall, what do you guys feel like you guys would rate this WrestleMania?
Overall, man, I think WrestleMania was night one was a good show, man. I'm very interested in night two. I'm interested in seeing what happens. Like this not if anything tonight made me more anticipated for tomorrow night. I'm more eager to see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think overall, I enjoyed this WrestleMania. Um, it's been my first WrestleMania that I watched at on TV in the last 3 years. 3 years, yeah, 3 years. So it's a different perspective. But I still enjoyed it. I still had fun, and I think that yeah, I mean, I'm excited for night two. Um, I think I think it did what I thought it was gonna do. I don't I don't think it underperformed at all. So we'll see tomorrow.
Hey, see you tomorrow, man. We'll be back at it.
But yeah, man, that's it for us. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.